Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up, or are we fired up tonight?
Yep.
In the immortal words of Ric Flair, woo! Let's go.
Well, I won't say this, but I know two of the four panelists here had to make coffee before they came on, so I know they're going to be fired up, and caffeine is going to be flowing. Besides them, I have my Diet Mountain Dew, so I've got my caffeine as well.
I got regular right here.
Okay, with that being said, wow, what a week in sports lately. Woo. Let's start with the NFL trade deadline, because that's the headline. So let's jump right into the NFL trade deadline. Who do we think were the winners? Who was the losers? Jeremy, why don't you get us started?
Well, I have one that's a winner and a loser at the same time. It's a loser because of what they lost on defense and the depth that they lost in the running back room, and that's the Jets. It's a winner because it's building for the future and setting AG up for success with players that acted like they didn't want to be there. Quinnen Williams was supposedly supposed to be back after 3 weeks, didn't return until last week. And so he finally got to play. And Sauce Gardner was complaining about the locker room in the beginning of the season. And, and AG learned from Dan Campbell, if you're going to complain about being here, then you're not going to be here. So he gets traded to the Colts, who overpaid, but got a great player if the change of scenery helps them. It's to be determined, but on the surface, it looks like both teams won that trade. And then if you look at the Quinnen Williams trade, Mozzie Smith got out of Dallas, who hasn't looked that great, but was dominant at Michigan. Maybe a change of scenery and a new coach will help him because it's not at the same place with a different coach, because he can't get comfortable with the coaches. Then they made a little trade. Dallas made a little trade on the trade deadline too, and they got themselves a linebacker that was a team captain but had turned into rotational because he's not as fast as he used to be, and the only way he's tackling somebody is if they run into him. And Logan Wilson.
Samir, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was just to piggyback off what you just mentioned, Jeremy. The New York Jets are a loser from the players they gave up. Those are two defensive cornerstones that you were hoping to build your team around for the foreseeable future. Sauce Gardner, as a matter of fact, you just gave a bag earlier this offseason. So the plan initially seemed like he was going to be a cornerstone of that franchise, not only that defense, but of that franchise for a while, along with Garrett Wilson, who they also extended. But it seemed like I guess they did not fit in. Number one, they didn't fit in with the culture that Aaron Glenn was trying to build. And number two, the way the Jets are currently constructed roster-wise, by the time the Jets would have been out of that rebuild and ready to contend, they would have been a little older, especially Quinnen Williams, who I believe is right now 29 years old. So you're kind of doing what Detroit did when Aaron Glenn first got there under the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes regime. They tore it down and they're building it back up. They're going to have a lot of draft capital. They're going to have 5 first-round picks the next couple of years. And the good part is they don't have to take an offensive tackle early because they have Membu, who they just took this past year, and they have Fashanu. Number one. Number two, they're in a place where maybe if they wanted to, they don't necessarily have to go quarterback this year. They don't have to go and get a Simpson or a Mendoza or quarterback from Oregon early. They can maybe punt on a quarterback, wait until next year, and just take the best player available in the first round. Like maybe depending on where they are, a Reuben Bain if they want to go defense. Like Aaron Glenn is a has a defensive background. So do they want to go Ruben Bain or maybe replace what Quentin Williams left? Do they want to go, to bolster their pass rush? Do they want to get Peter Woods to maybe replace what Quentin Williams left on the inside? So they have a lot of draft capital to play with. And then in 2027, they're going to have, I believe, over 200 million available in cap space. So they're a loser and a winner from that standpoint. Seattle is also a winner. They go and get Shaheed from the Saints, who is one of the more underrated slot receivers in the NFL. And they're going to bring him in with BSN, Torrey Horton, and Sam Darnold. He's playing at MVP level. So that's another winner. The loser from what they gave up standpoint was Dallas. They got a good player, and they do have Green Bay's first, but chances are Green Bay's first is going to be later than Dallas first, even in 2027, unless barring an injury or unless Jordan Love completely falls off. That's one loser. Another one I would say is the Patriots and the Patriots and the Commanders, because especially the Commanders, Patriots could have bought. I'm kind of surprised they didn't. And the Commanders, from their standpoint, Jaden Daniels going to be out for a while. They have an aging roster. So I think it's the oldest roster in the NFL. So there are some guys they could have sold, like maybe they wouldn't have got much, like maybe a Bobby Wagner. They could have went and got something for him. Maybe so they could have sold somebody like that, because now, if I'm correct, they only have, I think, 2 draft picks inside of the first 3 or 4 rounds. I'll have to look at that again. So that was a chance to maybe get some picks and add some young talent to what is an 8 roster.
The one team that I would think that improved was the Eagles. Let's face it, they moved some people around, got some different players. Jalen Phillips they got from Miami, and he is ecstatic. Like, he thinks that was the best day of his life, best thing that could have ever happened to him, moving from Miami, which is obviously a very poor culture, especially right now. But going to a playoff contending Philadelphia Eagles. So he was quite happy. So, Adam, we're kind of just going around talking about who we think won the NFL trade deadline and some of our thoughts. Jeremy started, then Samir. So, what are your thoughts of some of the trade deadline moves?
My team didn't do shit.
Neither did mine.
Let's talk about that for a second. I heard somebody say, well, the teams that don't try to make trade deadline moves, they're not trying to win a Super Bowl. And I want to list the name of the teams that are just on the NFC side in playoff contention right now. And there is 3 AFC ones mentioned, but the Steelers should have been 2. But you got the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings, the 49ers, the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and Steelers. All these teams did not make a trade day deadline move.
You left out the Bills.
I said the Bills.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, Lions, Packers, Vikings, 49ers, Rams, Buccaneers, Panthers, Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, Steelers.
I thought the Bills should have went after a wide receiver.
I thought they should have too.
I don't know why. I don't know why no one went after Breece Hall. All they were asking for was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, and besides, he's going to leave in free agency anyway. So you could have got now you're going to lose him for nothing.
I love that take that James Burgess says here about comparing the Lions to the Jets. The 2021 Lions were still cutting guys 7 weeks into the season. Good players in a few cases, but they were not all in. I give the Jets all credit for their trades and will need a QB, but have 2 years.
Here's my question to you guys. Do you guys think the Chiefs just gave up on the season by not going after Breece Hall? Or is Kareem Hunt going to be able to carry this team the distance?
I think with Pacheco being out, And Kareem Hunt's familiarity with that system, I think they're banking on that. But I don't know. I would have thought the Chiefs would have tried to make a move for Brees Hall.
I still can't believe they just didn't give up a third round pick. I mean, do they feel there's going to be a better? I mean, they have minor holes that need filled for sure. I mean, the Chiefs, they really have to win out to even make playoffs. It feels like.
Where are they now? They're 4-4.
I think they're 3-5, aren't they?
I think they're 4-4. They are. Oh yeah, because they are third in their division because the Chargers are 6-3, Denver's 7-2, and then the Chiefs are 5-4. And then the Chiefs, they have Denver and Indianapolis as their next two games. They could easily lose both of those. And then you have Dallas, and Dak is playing is probably having the best year of his career. So you never, even with how bad their defense is, you don't know how that will go. So
It depends what offense shows up too, Samir.
yeah,
I mean, if they don't if they don't score 37 points, they lose. That is a horrible stat. If the Cowboys offense does not put up 37 points, they lose.
yeah,
Exactly. And one time they put up 40 and tied.
Right. With your favorite team, Jeremy.
They named my favorite team.
I know.
It is the ladies next to me. Isn't that right, Kate?
Who? What?
No, but in all actuality, I heard the Jets were called about their offensive players, and they turned them down because those guys are actually trying to play.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but also I feel like from a team building standpoint, it would have made sense to move off Brees Hall because you're not going to sign him back anyway, or I don't see it at least.
I like that. He should have done that as a Lions fan. I am glad they did not. Mahomer instead of Mahomes. I love it. Oh. So, and another team I think one that had a win was the Jags. Getting Jacoby Myers to help solidify while Brian Thomas Jr. looks like he's trying to imitate somebody who drops a lot of footballs instead of catching them this year.
Is he even going to be able to be healthy? I mean, doesn't he have a hurt turf toe?
Yeah, and then Travis Hunter's on the IR.
So I mean, their wide receiver core right now is in really bad shape, Jerm.
They should have never got rid of LaVisca Chenault when they did. I thought that was crazy when they were in that run and they were winning and they traded away LaVisca Chenault that year. And they actually ended up only winning 9 games because their most sure receiver was gone.
But they have a kicker that can kick like out of the ball.
Oh yeah, Cam Little.
Cam Little, right? Isn't that his name?
Yeah, Cam Little, the machine. I'm calling him the machine. 68-yard official.
I saw your team picked up some trash that the Pirates let go today, huh?
Hey, you know what's funny is whenever anybody picks up the trash that the Pirates get rid of,
they're usually really good.
They play good for the other team, so I'm happy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name? Jack. I think his name was Jack Little.
Wonder if he's any relation to Cam.
I don't know.
Turned into a machine. But anyway.
Tyrese, do you follow the NFL at all? Like, do you have any takes on?
Oh no, I'm really not a football guy.
Okay, no problem. I just want to, So let's.
What sport does he like?
NBA.
We're gonna go into the NBA for him, and so let's do a little NBA for him, and then we'll go back to college football and stuff like that. But let's kind of get Tyrese in. So how would you guys feel? Like, I know you guys have heard about Eric Spoelstra and his house. Like, he's on a plane from Denver coming back home. He lands at 5:11 a.m. He comes back to his house only to find it's up in fire. It started around 4:30 a.m. It's practically completely gone. I can't imagine. Like, I just can't.
I'm just glad no one was in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. It's a good thing that his family goes with him.
Yeah.
I want to say that right now, because if his family would have been home and either his kids or his wife got hurt, that'd have been way more devastating than just losing property. You can replace what you own. You can't replace what you love as far as a human being or a pet. I mean, I think there was a pet involved possibly, but other than that, no, no humans were hurt.
Well, he
Right.
is divorced. He got divorced
Okay.
back in 2023. He bought the house after his divorce in 2023.
And
And
they've been renovating it all year, from what I understand.
correct.
Correct?
Yes. And they had just finished renovating it, I think.
So hold on, Tyrese. What NBA team do you follow?
I don't have any one particular team. I just like pay attention to the whole NBA as a league.
So is Luca going to keep us up all year or what?
Uh, I'm not sure. Luca, I think he has the ability to be the leader that the Lakers need. He just needs to. I feel like the supporting cast around Luca needs to definitely show him that they can back him up, because LeBron is gonna be gone soon.
LeBron just got cleared.
Yeah. He's going to be back in a week or two. But I mean, yeah. I mean, talent wise, yeah, but leader wise, I wouldn't say so. He just needs to stop complaining to the refs all the time. He complains.
This goes back to Jeremy's statement. When you leave a bad team, you all of a sudden learn how to play basketball again, or that sport again that you're as a professional. Like DeAndre Ayton right now is playing lights out. Was he averaging 15 and 9 and I think 3 a game right now, which is awesome for the Lakers, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not fouling out of games. He's very. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I wanted to say I'm trying to figure out the scheduling, because there's only one basketball game period tonight in the NBA.
Yeah,
and it's the Clippers versus Suns, and right now it's 47-45. And both teams are like really struggling this year at 3-4 for the Clippers and 3-5 for the Suns.
I feel like the Clippers, they're just I feel like they're not, they don't have youth on their side. You know, a lot of their team is up there in age, and I don't really see the direction for the Clippers.
Right, they have what, Harden, Leonard, and
Harden, Kawhi. They've got Bogey. Who else? I mean, they don't really have that much of a future because they gave most of it to OKC. That trades.
This is the battle for 9th place in the Western Conference right now between them two.
That's
I really like Devin. I really like Devin Booker
tonight.
though.
I feel like Devin Booker just needs to look himself in the mirror and just get the hell out of Phoenix. Like his career is really dying.
So after going 50-50 to start this season, I do see that the Pistons, even though I haven't been watching them, have just won 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
They started out winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. Now they're on a 4-game win streak and second in the Eastern Conference overall.
I really like Cade Cunningham there.
Absolutely.
I have his jersey.
Maybe you should bring it out for this. Maybe you should bring it out for this segment, Jeremy.
He's one of the better guards in the East. I like him. But yeah, even the Hawks, we got off to a slow start. Started off 1-3, but we have won 3 of our last 4, so we are 4-4. We've got the Raptors coming to town tomorrow. They blew us out in our home openers, so we got to get one back. And look, I mean, obviously we don't have Trey. We're not going to have him for at least 3 more weeks until he gets reevaluated. So we'll see what Quinn Snyder can get out of this team, and we're gonna they've talked about Jalen Johnson. A lot of us have about this being his first All-Star season. Well, here's his chance to make a name for himself. So if he wants to make that all-star leap, here we go.
You have Walker, right? Don't you have Walker filling in for Trey right now, Samir?
Keaton Wallace. Right now, it's well, we've got as you mentioned, Walker. Then we've got Keaton Wallace, who's gotten more minutes as well.
He's the rookie, right?
No.
No, I thought he was. My bad.
So Tyrese, who do you like in the Eastern Conference?
Who do I like in the Eastern Conference?
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know. I could be wrong. And this may be a very big stretch, but something tells me that Philly might make some noise this year.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's all about Joel Embiid, what he does. I mean, he's not. I mean, but at Joel Embiid at 50 to 40% is still better than people's 90%.
I'm not even like focused on the process. I'm just like the way VJ Edgecombe and Maxey have really piggybacked off of one another. I feel like they're gonna be the two pillars of that offense. I mean, they're both scoring threats. Edgecombe, he's a defensive minded guard. So I think if Nick Nurse can build a good, solid offense off of those two young stars, that they might make a nice run. I'm not gonna say going to like Eastern Conference Finals or deep in the playoffs, but they may at least get second round. I don't know. That's just me.
They definitely can. But I mean, Detroit, I mean, maybe, but then they're off to a slow start, but you still have got New York. I think Cleveland is definitely in the mix. Atlanta, even without Trey, I would take as maybe a top 4 or 5 seed. I don't know what's going on with Orlando. They had their all-in move when they got Bane, and they just haven't looked as good as I thought they would so far. It's still early though, so
the thing that I'm upset about with Orlando is I see Jalen Suggs. He's he's not played up to the level like Gonzaga. Jalen Suggs played at, and I just see he looks lost on the court. I don't see him being any kind of threat on either side of the ball. So he's the biggest question mark that I have when I think of the Magic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think about the Western Conference so far?
I think I'm my team that I'm excited about is definitely the Rockets. I think with Ime Udoka's resume and the pieces they have, what they were able to retain while getting still one of the biggest names in the league. I think I'm excited to see how Reed Shepherd keeps growing in his point guard role now that there's no Jalen Green and there's no Van Vliet. Like what this year looks like for Reed Shepherd. So in the West, I'm definitely watching the Rockets.
Anybody else? Any takes on the NBA that you want to?
I do want to speak on something that really I wouldn't say bothered me when I saw it today, because at the end of the day, sports is a business first. But there's this player named Matt McClung, and he's never found a home in terms of a place that he can really mature his game. But he recently got picked up briefly by the Pacers, and for the limited games that he did get a chance to play in, he did show some nice bright spots. And then I wake up today and he's been waived by the Pacers. And for a guy that's really that really has good raw talent that can be shaped and molded if he finds the right system. I'm just wondering why teams keep passing on him. I don't know.
Passing on which player?
His name is Matt McClung.
He's the guy that won the dunk contest like the
Two
last
years ago,
2
right?
years. He's won it last couple of years, I think.
I think he won it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, he just hasn't really made an NBA roster because he was on the Orlando Magic's G League team for a few years. So I think this was his really first crack at the NBA.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow enough of his career to know why.
I mean, and then it's like it's interesting because I wouldn't say his game is as polished as this person I'm about to mention, but like when I think of both of their high energy level, I guess archetypes, he does strike me like a young Russell Westbrook, but his game is like not as polished as maybe Westbrook. And like even with Russell, like I'm interested to see his impact with the Kings because he still has a lot left in the tank. And I know the organization is in shambles in terms of like leadership, but I want to see if he proves anything this year.
I gotcha. It'll be interesting to see.
Absolutely.
I do want to say congratulations on Russell Westbrook on becoming the point guard with the most rebounds in the NBA history.
Yeah, that's definitely not not an easy achievement.
Well, and if we're gonna give kudos to players that have reached milestones, you gotta give it up to Alex Ovechkin in the NHL for being the highest point scorer in all time. He was the first player ever to score 900 goals. Whether you're an NHL hockey fan or not, that's pretty impressive.
Ovechkin's definitely a legend. His career speaks for itself, and it's interesting. It's like a lot of the sports stars that I grew up watching are now in their late in the latter part of their careers, and it's like wow. Like I remember when I was a kid, and he was the biggest thing, and now he's still at it, still making history. It's just very remarkable, and just to be an athlete in any sport and to keep your body performing at a high level for that long is definitely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sidney Crosby outscored him tonight with 2 goals. Ovechkin didn't score tonight, but they did lose. So Penguins did get the win. If Carolina should lose tonight or tomorrow, Penguins will be in first place for at least a day.
Okay, college football. So I have a question for you guys because you guys all know that I'm a Wisconsin fan, and Wisconsin football has not been up to its normal standards the last couple years. They went out and they had gotten Luke Fickle, and there are a lot of fans that want him gone. And today they came out. Chris McIntosh, the AD, says that Luke Fickle is going to definitely return for 2026 season. So far his record at Wisconsin is 15-19. He's 2-6 in his third season, including 0-5 in the Big Ten this year. They've lost 6 games in a row. However, McIntosh wants the school's football program to have more continuity while increasing its recruiting abilities. Chancellor Jennifer Mookin and I are aligned on significantly elevating investment in our program to compete at the highest level. We're willing to make an investment in infrastructure and staff, as important in our ability to retain and recruit players in a revenue share and NIL era. So my question to the panel here is when a college coach is in their contract and they still have a couple years in their contract, but they're not producing, when do you pull the plug? What year? Is it year 2? Is it year 3? Is it never? Is it Tell me what your thoughts
These
are.
these teams that are late embracing the NIL, like Michigan, like Wisconsin, they were late embracing it as well. I think they're behind the 8 ball with these new coaches, and it's going to take them longer to be able to rebuild a program because they're fighting with the NIL stuff. Because now they got to work with the booster and be like Stanford. As much as I hate to say it, Stanford is going to be an up and coming team because they hired Andrew Luck to be their general manager to take over the NIL side to help with recruiting. And I think all these teams, these newer teams that are added into it, they need to do the same thing. They need to get a general manager and treat it like an NFL franchise.
So
And
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I know the general manager name is kind of new to college football. Like I know when Belichick went to UNC, he bought on Mike Lombardi as his general manager. So I always thought the general manager was more just a figurehead because in college it's not like the NFL where there's the owner, the GM, whatnot. It's basically the coach runs the show. So is a general manager more of like a figurehead even now?
if you actually look at what everything that Andrew Luck is doing, he's heading up the recruiting department. He is going out and gathering sponsors to help boost the amount of NIL money they have. That way he can decide the contract that the NIL gets given to the kids because he's actually running all of it like a business, just like an actual general manager of an NFL franchise.
Right. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, that's just kind of new, so I mean, I just didn't know. But to answer your question, when does a school pull the plug? I think it depends on what the expectations of your program are, because each school, each program is different. Like the expectations at Wisconsin are probably different from the expectations at Penn State, LSU, or Florida, where the expectations there are like
Penn State.
the expectation is you are contending for a championship every year. Like, James Franklin, I thought was a good coach at Penn State, but he just couldn't win when it matters. So, I mean, they had to get rid of him. Brian Kelly, I mean, he couldn't win at LSU, so they had to get rid of him. Billy Napier couldn't win at Florida. He didn't come close to meeting expectations there. And it feels like Florida, I think for a while, has been in a cycle of they're changing coaches every 3 or 4 years. That's what it seems like there. So I don't know, but I would say maybe the expectations at Wisconsin are not the same as the expectations at those schools. That's maybe the only explanation I can come up with, because you see all these schools just eating these like 50-60 million dollar buyouts, but when you hired somebody, you had a better Wisconsin hired their coach, they had a better record before him than they have under him. So they haven't gotten better. So I'm surprised they didn't eat that buyout.
I think one of the reasons why they haven't is because some of the other schools that you've named have let their coaches go, and now they're in the hunt looking for the top talent of coaches. And how many top talent coaches are out there that Wisconsin could attract that they think are better than what they have?
I mean, I feel like Franklin would be better than what they have now. I mean, he
I
can't.
don't. I think he's overrated.
I mean, he can't win the big one, but he can do better than what they've done lately. I mean,
well, and Samir, the one thing I will say about Wisconsin and their expectations before Luke Fickell took over the program, they had been to 22 straight bowl games.
right. So he was bought in.
Years. That's the longest out of any college, and now they've missed.
Do you feel bowl games have fallen apart though with the new playoff thing and like now like I heard today like they were starting to say why like so the Big Ten might get 4 teams, right? And 2 of them might be in the top 2 or top 4. So if they play for the Big Ten championship, do you think they're really going to beat the hell out of each other, knowing they've already got the 1 and 2 locked in?
It really depends on who wants that Big Ten championship more. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And
But
right
they
now,
can put in all their backups too, Jerem.
they could, but the team that wants to win it and look like they're the best, they won't. We've seen this before.
I was just saying, like this was a thought topic today across the radio.
It may have been, but if you remember right, 2 years ago, back when it was only the 4-team playoff, 1 and 2 was Michigan and Ohio State that year when they played the game.
And then another topic that came out, and you know this is a concern because we just saw the Jets trade for all these first-round draft picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if one of these college kids is like, I'm going to get drafted by the Jets, I can make 4 or 5 mil on the nil and just stay in college and say screw the Jets instead of just really saying screw the Jets by not accepting the draft pick? Has anyone thought about that process yet?
We saw Lane Kiffin in the NFL, Jose Cruz Torres, and it wasn't good. He went straight back to college and went back to being a coordinator to begin with, and then became a coach again. So I'm going to say probably not, unless it's as a coordinator.
I don't think he'll go back in the NFL, but I think he could definitely take a step up or a different program.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying in the NFL, the only way he comes back, I think, is as a coordinator. I don't think he'll ever be a head coach in the NFL again because it was awful. Wasn't that with the Raiders before they got McDaniels?
The Raiders, I think, yeah.
And that was awful too. But at the same time, he got them to the playoffs. They bring in McDaniels. They get rid of Carr. And, it's been nothing but a crap show ever since.
No, that wasn't Lane Kiffin. That was the special teams coach.
Oh, yeah, because he was already fired and the interim coach took him there, right?
Oh, that was Gruden who got fired.
Well, yeah, he was suspended first before he got fired.
Yeah. But Lane Kiffin, I think, coached years ago in the NFL, and I think if I'm correct,
the Raiders though.
Yeah, if I'm correct, he was a one and done, right? He was a one and done.
Wait, wasn't he the coach that had him select Jamarcus Russell?
I think so. Was it North Turner?
North Turner was before him. Because North Turner went to become the San Diego offensive coordinator, I thought.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin was the head coach for the Oakland Raiders from 2007 to 2008. And
Jamarcus Russell. 100% Jamarcus Russell. But the NIL is why somebody that is a college QB, if they're one of the elite ones and they have the chance to come out early or stay in and make the money on NIL, they'll stay in and make the money on NIL instead of going there. I think they need to focus on their trenches before they even take the QB. They could wait a year.
Well, I mean, that's one argument, and that's definitely an understandable one. I mean, I could understand why some of these players or their families, their agents wouldn't want them playing for certain organizations who ruin quarterbacks. But there's the other side where you have a Drew Allard from Penn State who last year he was a projected first-round pick. And he could have declared for the NFL draft, likely been a first-round pick, maybe a second-round pick at worst. and could have made tens of millions off a rookie contract. Now he goes back to Penn State. He has a down year, gets hurt. So now he doesn't have any eligibility left. So it's kind of like where's he going to go now? You were projected for a pick. Now you just cost yourself tens of millions. So there's always that risk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, what college game this weekend are you looking most forward to?
I'll go ahead and start us off, and I want to say there's one going on right now that Scott should be very interested in because his South Florida Bulls are kicking the ever-loving snot out of Ute Roadrunners right now, 55-13. But that being said, let's get to Saturday's game. I think that's where we see everything. I believe Michigan's on the bye. I want to see Indiana just destroy Nittany Lions, Penn State. I want to see them destroy them. They're on
There's
a roll
nothing
right
there.
now.
There's nothing there at Penn State right now. They're deflated. They're depleted, man. They're done, Germ.
I know, but I just want to see them die miserably on the field too.
I mean, you got to take Texas Tech and BYU, right? Got to be the game of the week, right?
Oh yeah, that one will be the game of the week. But I just want to see that 63-0 score in Penn State. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm. Any other
Or
games?
is this Penn State's national championship game and they show up and beat them?
Oh, that would be funny. Hey, Motown Mitch is in there. Marcus Russell was awesome for the Food Channel.
especially when he watched the blank tapes and they ask him if they watched them.
Oh yeah.
Tyrese, do you do college football at all?
No, I'm not. I'm not a big football fan at all.
Okay, so what game are you looking forward to this weekend? Because I know there's NBA, there's college basketball, there's.
Well, actually, this weekend I'm a credential reporter for this women's professional soccer team in Brooklyn, New York, called Brooklyn FC, and they haven't won a game since August 23rd. So I'm looking to see will they get another win this weekend. They have a coach from Portugal. The toughest thing about European soccer versus American soccer is, global soccer is very technical. America's kind of behind the curve in terms of development. So now you're bringing a very esteemed coach that has played at one of the highest levels in Europe, and you're placing him in an American environment with soccer, with players that have never gone through, rigorous training or, done a lot of things that, the world is used to seeing in terms of like the pedigree of soccer. So they have a new coach. They just assigned they just signed a new forward from Ghana. She looks very promising. So maybe she can, aid Brooklyn FC in getting a win. I have to give a shout out to one of my favorite players this season. Her name is Rebecca Cook. She's a forward or an attacking player. She scored. Currently she's the team's leading goal scorer with 4 goals. So I'm looking for her to be another offensive threat, and hopefully the ladies can bring home a W because they really, really need it.
Okay. So this might not be a good game, but I am looking forward to Syracuse coming to Miami and playing in Miami on Saturday afternoon. I will be on the field at that one, so we'll see what Miami teams shows up.
I don't think it's what team shows up. I think if Carson Beck shows up, I think that this is the problem. Yeah. Carson Beck is the big problem, and now you know why Georgia kind of never really pushed the issue with this kid. Was he? Was he? I mean, he's thrown 4 interceptions in big moments. He's not. And I know that that's your team, and I know it's my team, but Carson Beck is not the answer, unfortunately.
No, I wouldn't say they're my team. They're the team I cover only because they're the team that's down here. So I'm very familiar with the team. So yes, and I would agree with you. And the fact that he's called out some team members in some of the press conferences and saying that they're running the wrong routes, like you just don't do that. You can do that in house. You just don't do that with the media, especially at that level. I would say.
But I do like
No
Malachi
way.
though. I do like Malachi.
Oh yeah,
He's going to
Well,
be something. I don't know when he's going to leave, but he's either going to go through the nil or to the NFL. He's pretty good.
but he's a freshman.
Right. He just right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what just happened because it was 4th and 16 at the LV 16, and
Denver just
evidently,
punt.
well,
Denver
it's 2nd and 12 at the Las Vegas 14 now.
Yeah,
I think they just did they block the punt?
yeah, they blocked it, and then now there's 2nd and 12. Bo Nix just threw an incomplete pass, so it's 3rd and 12.
Right, but this is awful for both
Yeah,
teams. Offensively, 127 yards for Oakland at 2.9 yards per play, and 169 yards for the Broncos at 4.3 yards per play.
Is this a stretch to say this is as bad as the Denver Indianapolis game from a few years ago?
This is two teams playing down to the other competition. That's what you got. Raiders haven't been great all year.
No, this is a
And
division game, right, Jeremy? We know it's going to be competitive, regardless of everything. It's going to be sloppy, but it's a division game, and these two teams do not like each other at all.
But I mean, Denver's offense has looked flat,
It must
All
not be the
game.
fourth quarter yet.
and then like you had that
42
fourth,
seconds.
you had that fourth quarter against the Giants a couple of weeks ago, but they've looked flat. Otherwise, I think Bo Nix is having a sophomore slump.
Didn't they just whoop
But he's 7-2,
out of that?
Samir.
Because their defense is
I
insane.
understand, but wait, didn't they just play the Denver Broncos the Denver Broncos just played Dallas and beat them 44-22?
Well, that's true. It's like I wouldn't say having a sophomore slump. He just hasn't been as consistent as he was.
Yep. Field goal.
Second half of last year, but yeah, they had a field goal.
10-7.
Back to what I was saying about Carson Beck. I mean, you can see why Georgia really wasn't too pressed about letting him go. One thing about Georgia under Kirby Smart that if you I feel like it's one of those. He comes from the Nick Saban tree where if you are not in line, then you will not play. Well, that is unless you speed. Well, you can speed, you know. But
Mhm. I guess I'm just looking forward to it because I always love being in person. So that's probably why. So let's go to the NFL. Let's talk a little bit about what we all learned today. Jeremy, you want to lead this one?
Yeah, this morning, about 9:30, we heard that Marshawn Nealon has passed and no details had came out. But about 11:30, the media release letter came out from the Frisco PD down there where they found him. And I want to read it verbatim because it needs to be said and some awareness needs to be out there for young men that play this sport they love so much. Frisco police investigate a possible suicide. A man was found deceased from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound following an outside agency vehicle pursuit that led to a multi-agency search in Frisco. On November 5th at 2025 at approximately 10:39 p.m., the Frisco Police Department responded to assist the Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS, with locating a vehicle that had evaded troopers during a pursuit that entered into the city of Frisco. After losing visual of the vehicle, troopers located it minutes later, crashed on southbound Dallas Parkway near Warren Parkway. Initial reports indicated that Plano, Texas, fled the scene on foot. Officers established a perimeter and initiated a search of the area with assistance of the FPD K9 and drone unit. During the course of the search, officers received information that Nealon had expressed suicidal ideation. Nealon was later located at 1:31 a.m., deceased with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The cause manner of death will be determined by the Collin County Medical Examiner's Office. At this time, no further details will be released as the investigation remains ongoing. Our heartfelt condolences to the Nealon family and friends. If you or someone you know are struggling or in crisis, help is available. Please call or text the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988. You are not alone. So please, if you are struggling mentally with depression or severe acute depression, please reach out to that number, 988. It is very important. Mental health. This all stems from a year ago on November 5th. His mother passed away. And then on November 4th, his best friend on the team is traded away on the day that he probably needed him the most, which was this day. And who knows if he tried to reach out to Mozzie or not, but I know that they were very close. He was actually from Wyoming, Michigan, just outside of Grand Rapids. Was a MAC Defensive Player of the Year runner-up, I believe he was. In his career at Western Michigan, he had 149 tackles, 12 and a half sacks. I think he was runner-up to Sauce Gardner or the other way around. It was one or the other that year. But either way, outstanding young man. He had 2 visits with Detroit, the All-Michigan visit where you can invite 30 kids that are from the state. Plus, he was one of the 32 visits to come to the team. Calvin Shepard spoke very highly of him. Thoughts on A.J. Brown not getting traded? Expected. They need him. He's asked to be traded, 3 years in a row now? And it hasn't happened. Face it, Howie Roseman is not getting rid of him.
The owner came out and said, we need A.J. Brown. Regardless of what he says on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, he's a key part to this team.
Right. So my heart and my deepest condolences go out to his girlfriend and his family, his father and his stepmom that are surviving, his brothers, sisters, aunts, and uncles, cousins, because I personally know what it's like to lose a child.
Wasn't there a dispute before all this happened, Jerem?
A dispute?
Yeah, I heard that there was some kind of dispute before all this happened.
Not that I know of. All I know is that his girlfriend came home, found a note, called the cops, and they were looking for him. And it all stems with being 1 year from the day his mother passed away. I think that was the combination of losing his best friend on the team and everything else might have been a trigger for this. We don't know. We're not in his head. But they found stuff, writing, and everything else that led that he's been feeling this way for a while.
Very unfortunate. And I didn't know that about him and Mozzie Smith being close. So that may have played a role, and I didn't know that about his mom either. So as you mentioned, it could have been a combination of those things, is because I was reading the report. Apparently he said goodbye to a lot of his teammates, if that's correct.
After the game.
Yeah. Yeah, he scored a touchdown in that game too on a blocked punt.
Yeah, he blocked the punt, recovered it, and ran it in. It was great. I mean, he had possibly one of his best games of his career. I believe he had 4 tackles for loss in that game. The block punt, the return for a touchdown. I think
it's kind of like he knew this was going to happen.
It's like he did a swan song.
Right.
Left his mark on more than just people's hearts. And so I know Cowboys Nation is reeling, and I know as a joke I say the 1-star rating system, but I know they're reeling right now, and my heart goes out to him. One of them being Albert Flores, a fellow podcaster. He's we have our banter, we go back and forth, but we're friends and we get it. That's what you do. And no different than me and Candy when we pick on each other when Lions versus Packers happen.
Correct. Or me and my husband. I mean, let's face it, on our wedding day, they played each other. So, but I would encourage anybody to get help if you need help, but also look at the signs if you know somebody that is showing signs of depression or mental illness. The one thing I will say, any of you who have not caught, we have a series on the South Florida Tribune. The show is called No Limits, and we've done a couple of episodes, and it is with a former 1994 Olympic bobsledder who had CTE and or mental brain issues, mental illness. He got treatment with the hyperbaric chamber, and he has dramatically improved. Yes, he still gets headaches or migraines at times, but then he does this hyperbaric chamber, and it improves and it helps him. And he talks about it on No Limits on the different shows about his journey and how some of his teammates committed suicide and how important it is to get help. And he's trying to raise money because he wants to offer this hyperbaric chamber at a facility for free and to bring people there, cover all of their expenses, all their travel expenses, all of that. So he is raising money. So if you feel so inclined, go to our No Limits show, listen to what William has to say about his experience. And if you feel so inclined to help and donate, please do so, because this is not going away. And we sometimes think it's only certain sports, but we're finding out it's more and more different sports and different people. And you don't even have to be in sports. Like we talked yesterday about veterans and people in the military and how they are affected and they can have CTE and stuff like that. So I would just ask everybody to go and view them. And if you, like I said, if you feel so inclined, please donate. But help your friends out. If you see something that their behavior all of a sudden has changed and it's erratic, it's, see something, say something.
And let's call it for what it is. CTE stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's a horrible disease, and if you actually just look it up on Google, you'll see a picture of a normal brain, which is like got the normal gray matter and everything else. The brain is misshapen. The brain is discolored. There are blank spots, black dark spots in the brain where it actually is damaged from the repeated head trauma caused by repeated head injuries, also known as boxing, football, and hockey are the main ones that it happens with.
Do we talk about the big winner yesterday in the trade deadline?
I think we did, yeah.
Was it Kirk Cousins getting $90 million guaranteed because he wasn't traded?
No, we didn't get there, but I don't think Samir likes that one being brought up.
What else can we talk about? What else is on the agenda?
But what do you think about everything that happened with Marshawn Nealon? I'll start with you, Adam.
I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I feel really bad for his family. Just because you have life on a platter and all the money in the world doesn't mean you have everything in focus. And, I hate to say it, but maybe if the Cowboys were like in a better winning situation, his head might have been better. Like, he did the best he could to get the win, and he couldn't help the team get the win. I'm not saying any of that, but I don't know. It's just a touchy situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Because none of us know what he was going through.
Right.
As a second round pick, his contract was 4 years at $6,832,646. His guaranteed at signing was $4 million of it. His signing bonus was $1.8 million. So this young lady who's left behind at his home might be lucky, because remember, he bought his house immediately after his signing bonus. Might be lucky to get a portion of that, because I doubt at 24 he had a will. That'll go to probate.
Yeah, and just overall, just again, just unfortunate. Unfortunate for him, for his family, for his teammates. Yeah, I mean, it just shows that although, and this just doesn't relate to him, it just relates in general that you can have money, you can see somebody living a certain lifestyle on social media, but I mean, behind closed doors, it could be something else. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like a keyboard warrior, and then you meet him in public, and they're nothing like that.
Right.
So since we're talking about the NFL, what games are you looking forward to this weekend in the NFL?
Go ahead, Adam.
Looks like Geno Smith got hurt. We're just talking about death, and now all of a sudden he gets hurt, and you're clapping. What the fuck?
I hate Geno Smith. I have for years. Sorry. And my opponent has him.
Yeah, I have him on my team too. That's why I'm like, what the.
um
Oh, that's why you're defending it. Okay.
so
Oh, Patty Grimes says Philadelphia versus Green Bay.
yeah, Philadelphia versus Green Bay is one. Um, the game, I think, no, the game this time, I know the Eagles have won the last couple of times they were in Philadelphia, but the game this time is going to be in Green Bay. The Packers do look better. It's like they do look like a Super Bowl contender in the NFC, but at the same time, they can be beat. Like they had the tie with Green Bay when I mean, they had the tie with Dallas when they went and scored 40 points on them. They had the bad loss at Cleveland week 3, and then Jordan Love has a bad game, and they lose a game they probably should have won against Carolina. And then you got Philadelphia. Their offense started off slow, but the past couple weeks it seems like it has picked up a little bit. Played, so we'll see. It should be a good one. And then we have a rematch of the Rams and the Niners. The Niners went into LA shorthanded and beat the Rams in overtime. They looked like the better team for most of that game. This time the game is in San Francisco. Um, and I believe that game, if I'm correct, is going to be the winner of that game. If I'm correct, oh yeah, both teams are 6-2. So whoever, no, never mind. So Niners are 6-3, Rams are 6-2, Seahawks are 6-2. So depending on what happens with the Seahawks, um, this week in their game against the Cardinals, the winner of that game could determine first place in that division.
Go 49ers. Sorry, I have to be a hater. You know, they have Matt Stafford there in LA. Just say, go Niners. My game, it's the revenge game of last year's divisional championship. We're traveling to Washington. Yes, they're without Jaden Daniels, and if you actually look, there's only 2 teams with a worse injury report right now than Detroit, and basically any team in a dome right now And that's the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. Have you seen the laundry list of injuries they have right now and the people that are not playing?
No Terry McLaurin, I know that. Who else?
Yeah, Terry's out, Jaden's out. I know Lattimore's out for the season, but he wasn't really doing much anyway. They've got, I think I know Armstrong is out for a while.
Yep. They've also are missing somebody from the secondary. I believe one of their safeties is out. And they got a linebacker not named Frankie Luvo that should have been suspended, but he appealed and somehow got it reduced to a $100,000 fine.
Their running back situation's a mess too, Jerm.
Yeah, Eckler's out. They traded away Brian Robinson Jr., and boy, is that looking like a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand why they traded Brian Robinson. That made no sense to me at all.
I think they were a lot higher on merit or Bill Crosby than he actually was. I mean, he's been solid, but he hasn't been like given the training camp hype he was getting this off season. He hasn't lived up to that.
That one, and I'm looking forward to Philadelphia and Green Bay. That should be a slobber knocker of a game. If both teams play to their offensive potential, both defenses will struggle. But right now, if you actually look at it, it looks like Philly's defense is starting to shore up and look a little more solid on top of their offense getting better. So it's going to be one heck of a game. I might have to write a preview of this game.
I hope you're right. Let's face it, Green Bay as of late, they play to their opponent. You know, and if it's not an opponent that they think is going to be good, they play down to them. And they've lost, and the games that they've lost, they were close. It's not like they're getting blown out.
But this one was in your house. That's what makes it look worse.
I understand completely.
I think it was the jerseys.
Yeah, it was those old jerseys, right?
Yeah, the old jerseys, just like.
I don't understand why the NFL didn't let. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I just
go ahead.
I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at that.
I know.
I don't understand why the NFL didn't just say, you know what, Green Bay, wear your old jerseys, Steelers, wear your old jerseys, and go at it. Why? I don't understand why they just didn't make it a full-time game stake for Sunday Night Football. I don't understand why they didn't do it. It would have been perfect. That both ugly jerseys could have been out of the way to a lot of people, and that would have been it.
Yeah. There are 4 awful jerseys in the NFL for the throwback.
The Steelers have 2 of them.
Wait, if they didn't have the beige pants, if they didn't have the beige pants, if they went black pants, that jersey would be that uniform would be a lot better.
All right, come on, stop it. That Pittsburgh one looks like an Eastern State Penitentiary uniform from back in the 1800s.
Put black pants on it.
That might not even be their worst throwback. The worst one is the prison uniforms. The ones
the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
But I see it hanging back there.
One thing I do wish the NFL did is that they had a week, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks each season, where you had a throwback week and everybody wears their throwback uniforms, because I can count at least maybe 4 or 5 teams that should get rid of their current uniforms and make their throwbacks permanent again.
Well, I'm going to name the worst ones of the 4 teams that I'm talking about. Number 1 for me was the New York Giants bombsicle jersey. It looked like with those yellow pants, it looked like you were holding a bomb popsicle stick with a red, white, and blue bomb pop on it.
The Giants?
Number 2, the Giants last year, that throwback that they wore, the red, white, and blue. It was awful.
The worst one was it was like the blue and yellow ones the Philadelphia Eagles wore like years ago.
That was number 2 to me. That was number 2. Number 3 is the Chicago Bears and that weird orange and black one that they have where the Y's come up the top. I hate it. And then number 4 was the Green Bay Packers that they wore last week.
Oh, yeah.
What was up with the red stripe on the Cowboys helmets this weekend?
I think it was something they do for military, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what it was for? I was just curious because I was like, I missed the beginning of that, and I was like, what is up with the red stripe?
it's part of their salute to service. I think it had to do with some of the soldiers that had fallen in one of the recent wars.
Yeah, but you name the worst. I think they're. I think for the me, I'm gonna think to name the best ones, and quite a few of these teams need to change, need to make them their permanent uniforms. Number one, I know I sound biased, but I think it's ours. I think with the red helmet and the black uniforms with the white pants with that throwback logo, those are the best ones in the NFL. And then you've got the Eagles and their Kelly green ones. Seattle, I know they have some nice ones. Denver, Tampa. But yeah, at
Wait, the
least
creamsicle jerseys you're talking about? Sam?
Yes,
yeah.
yes, love the creamsicle.
But I think
Every time
ours are the best ones, especially
I,
with the red helmet.
I love the creamsicles because that particular jersey has not beaten Detroit ever. Remember, they used to be a part of the Central Division before it
Yeah.
became the North,
Mm-hmm.
and the longest losing streak in NFL history belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And then you have Denver, the ones they're wearing tonight, the orange ones with the old logo,
The Orange Crush.
Orange Crush. Seattle.
As long as it's not that lime green, I love the Seattle uniforms. That lime green one, it reminds me too much of Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm talking about their throwbacks.
Yeah, yeah. The original, like it's like a dark teal almost. It's like a blue green. Is that
Yeah,
the one you're talking about? The original
yeah.
one, where it's got the light green and the white collar on it.
And then the Giants with the it's like similar color scheme, but with the having them spell out Giants on their helmet instead of just New York.
Okay, guys, I think it's time to go around the horn and talk about what's happening in your town and what, whatever that might be. Like for me, it's going to be going to the Hurricanes game this weekend. Obviously, I'm going to be watching, Green Bay with the Philadelphia Eagles coming to town. That should be interesting. And up in Wisconsin, Washington is heading into Camp Randall on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see how the Badgers fare against Washington. Samir, go ahead. You're next.
Oh yeah, so in case no one heard, the Atlanta Braves have a new manager. They go in house again. They kind of stick to their they extend the Bobby Cox tree again. They promote Walt Weiss, who was the bench coach. He played for the Braves during the 90s years ago, shortstop. And he's well respected by the players. He did have one managerial stint in Colorado, which didn't really go well, but it's kind of Colorado's a team it's pretty hard to win there. Um, so yeah, we'll see. They have a new pitching coach, Jeremy Hefner from the New York Mets. They have a new first base coach, Antoine Richardson from the New York Mets. And what's interesting is um, the Mets were one of the best base running teams in baseball last year, while the Braves are one of the worst. And some of that can be contributed to Acuna being out for a lot of the year, but they got picked off a lot. They got caught stealing a lot. They had some bad sends, ended up getting thrown out at home a lot. So we'll see. Seems like Tim Hires is still here, the hitting coach. Eddie Perez is still here. So we'll see who our third base coach is. It'd be interesting to see if they bring back Eric Young, but we'll see what happens there. The Hawks, as I mentioned, Trey Young is going to be out for at least 4 weeks. MCL sprain, I think it's a grade 2. He'll be reevaluated in 4 months. They're 4-4 now, and it'll be interesting to see what Quinn Snyder can do with this group. It's still a very solid roster on paper, and this is the Jalen Johnson's case for that All-Star selection. So we'll see what happens there. The Falcons keep floundering. They just find new ways to lose week in and week out. They were down 21-7 in New England. They come back. Drake London has a great catch on 4th and goal, one hand. Parker Romo misses the extra point. Defense gets a stop. They get the ball back. We get intentional grounding. Patriots get the ball back, get a first down, run the clock out. So just another week, another way in which they find a new way to lose. It's the second game they lost because of their kicker, or one in which a kicker has contributed to them losing the game or not giving them a chance to win. So they cut Parker Romo yesterday or Tuesday, and then they bring in Zane Gonzalez, who was okay in Washington last year. So look, Zane Gonzalez, the kicking carousel continues. This is our third kicker this year. We'll see. They're 3-5. They have arguably the best team in football in Munich. They play the Colts, and the guy who, in my opinion, is the MVP frontrunner, and Jonathan Taylor, and the guy so far who I think is the coach of the year, in Shane Steichen. And they just got Sauce Gardner, who, even though he is having a down year compared to his standards, is still one of the better corners in the NFL. So it's not looking good. Looking like they're going to be 3-6, and it just feels like it's going to be a long season with a long second half of the year with what I think is going to be a lame duck regime. Georgia Tech has the bye. They had their first loss at NC State last week. They had no answers for CJ Bailey. They had no answers for the run game. So they have a bye, and then they have the one-win Boston College next week. So that is it for my town.
Okay, Tyrese, what's happening in your town?
This weekend is a big weekend for New York soccer. Like I said, Brooklyn FC is playing. Hopefully they get their first win, and also Gotham FC is in deep in the playoff race. They just secured the last position for the NWSL playoffs, and they play a very tough Kansas City Current team. So all their star players have to find a way to win. One thing about New York teams is I love that we have a certain resilience and mindset. So hopefully, that can be formulated into some good match plans, and the Gotham can continue their push to capture the NWSL Shield, because they really deserve it. They've been through a lot this season.
Okay, Adam, what's happening in your town?
Is Kenny Pickett really going to lead them to victory? That's what I'm laughing at. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Oh, that'd be funny.
So I will be at the pitch on Saturday evening. I just found out my buddy's like, hey, we're getting Riverhounds second round playoff tickets. So I'll be at the pitch watching the Riverhounds first Riverhound game on Saturday, playoff game. So, if you're going to go to a game, it might as well be a playoff game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like Samir said, I guess Pitt and Georgia Tech are on bye this week. Pitt does come back next week, gets Notre Dame, then they get Georgia Tech, and then they get Miami. So the end of their schedule should be very interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this ACC plays out now. Unfortunately, believe it or not, Pitt is finally making a run, and they have a chance to make some noise here with a freshman quarterback. Imagine if they would have started this kid all year. They might be that one loss that Holstein had might not have happened.
I think it's going to come down to the game here at Bobby Dodd in a couple of weeks.
Penguins are in first place, like I was saying earlier. The Pirates made some cuts and lost Bay today. Bay went to the Mets. So they have 38 on the roster out of 40. I don't know. I read something about waiting for the Rule 5 so they get those two players right into the lineup. That's what I was reading. I'm not sure. Baseball's a little off track, but free agency did start, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Pirates ain't spending any money, so I don't know what. Bob Nutting's already said he's not spending any money.
And why don't they just trade teams to us and take some prospects? I'll take it.
I got so tired the day after the Dodgers won the World Series. I swear it was like a every person that was on the fan wrote, oh, we need the cap and all this crap, and it was just so annoying because it was everyone that was on the fan. It was just so annoying, so annoying. Like it was like they were paid to say it by the Pirates. It was awful. Steelers obviously big game on Sunday night. Didn't do any trades, but we'll see what happens. Will the funeral for the defense be back in the parking lot, or are they going to close the casket and say we're alive? And in case anyone didn't see it, they had a casket before the game on Sunday, and we're ready to close the casket on the defense. I don't know if you guys saw that TikTok video or not.
Okay. Jeremy.
Well, first I want to talk about last week. I mentioned the fact that the hitting and first base coach was let go from the Tigers. We also fired after that our quality coach. We hired Cody Ash and Anthony Sanders, assistant hitting coach and first base coach from the Baltimore Orioles, which is interesting because they are actually a very good base running team. And I think that's why we brought in Anthony Sanders, because the year before we had a good base stealing percentage. Last year we were abysmal. So I think that's to help with the aggressiveness that AJ Hinch wants to have on the base path. And then Billy Boyer was promoted from within, who was just the video control coach. So in other words, he was the one that would be watching, seeing tendencies, and relaying that to the actual coach. Now, Patty Grimes asked me if Scooble gets traded. If they trade Scooble, I think it's a slap in the face to Tigers fans who are getting used to us being a playoff team. Because what you're telling us is that you're rebuilding completely. I think if you want to be competitive, you either tell them, hey, you're going to play out your contract this year, or you extend him and get it over with. That way, at least you're giving us a chance to have the back-to-back Cy Young winner actually pitch till the trade deadline. If you're in contention, you keep him. If you're not, you trade him, and you'll still get the same value out of him.
Okay, I think unless anybody's got anything else, I think it's time to go around the horn and let everybody know how they can find you and support you and all that good stuff. With that being said, though, I'm going to start off because I haven't gone. South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by my husband, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. He talks about being in the media and how it has evolved over his 40-plus years. It's a great book. It's a great gift idea. If you know somebody that's trying to get into the business, great gift idea, especially this time of year. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. But most importantly, if you see that red subscribe button, click it, like us, share us, and then tell all your friends and family about us. If you then turn on the notifications so you're notified every time we go live. With that being said, thank you all. Samir, how can people find you?
You can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I post a lot of Atlanta sports content, a lot of my articles there. So that's where you'll find that. You can find me on Thursday night here on Fire Up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next week.
Adam, how can people find you?
All right, so yep, I'll be here. Sorry I was late today, guys, but I saw the link very late. Anyway, you can get me at Sports Talking It on Twitter, guys. You can also get me at I didn't even share. Oh boy. So I was said this show is not shared by channels. So I just noticed. At Sports Talking It on Twitter, Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube, Driving to the Top. You can also get me there. Tuesday nights, you can get me on open mic with Jeremy's a regular guest over there now. Wednesday, me and Rich do Pittsburgh Sports Talk. We're doing it tomorrow night because I went to Yellow Card and A Day to Remember last night, so I was out of commission. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Tyrese, how can people find you?
LinkedIn is just my name, Tyrese Allen Davis. Facebook is my name as well, Tyrese Allen Davis. Blue Sky social app, it's Tyrese Allen 00 at Blue Sky Social, and Instagram it's _ the Think Tank.
Okay. Jeremy, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me right here on the South Florida Tribune, occasionally on Tuesday nights with Inside the Big Ten, and every Thursday right here with Fire Up, where we talk about, well, any sports and anything we want at our town. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I talk about the Lions 5 days a week at noon. I also do the NFL Roundtable Talks on Wednesday nights. I do Driving to the Top Productions on Tuesday nights with Adam, where I put that on my channel. This is streamed to my channel, as well as Saturday nights I have the Fantasy Football Talk at 10 p.m. with Austin Acker. Friday nights I have the Lions Fan Cave Chat, where I invite other podcasters and fans. Only day I don't podcast is Sunday. I gotta rest sometime. But
you don't jump on with the guys at 11 o'clock or whatever they do.
No, I try not to unless it's something big happening. I almost did today with what happened with Marshawn Nealon, but until I knew the details, I didn't think it was right to speak on it publicly. So I waited, and the details came out, and then I put it on my show.
I was going to say, you probably put it on your show.
Yep.
I missed your show today, Jeremy. I was as busy as all can be.
Hey, that's okay.
Actually, I didn't even get a link to share your show, so I don't know if you want to send me one or not. I didn't get a link to share it.
My morning show?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I'll send it to you. But at the same time, you can also find my writings right here on the SouthFloridaTribune.com, where I do all my writings, occasionally reviews of other games than just the Lions. I've also wrote my first baseball article about Shohei Ohtani's legendary night versus Andy's Brewers. And then, of course, my Detroit Lions.
I thought you would have went for the 13 for 13 game.
I went for the 10 strikeouts and 3 for 3, all 3 home runs when he limited the Brewers to only 2 hits to close out the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I called it the night the legend became myth.
Candy, you were talking about records that are probably not going to get broken, and I'm going to guess. I'm going to also say that Ernie Clement's record of the 23 straight singles in 23 straight games is probably never going to be broken.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because most people can't get past 12 straight games with a hit anymore.
Some people can't get past 3 games with a hit.
No, quit talking about Javi Baez like that. Hey, at least I admit my team's shortcomings.
Well, Jeremy normally closes out the show, and I'm going to let you do that. But before we do that, I do want to say on next week, Tuesday, is Veterans Day, and I want to say Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all those who have served. You have made it possible that we can be on a show like this and talking sports because of you. So thank you to all the veterans out there.
And I did also make homage to the fact that it had been done 2 other times before Shohei Ohtani did that. And nobody realizes it because the last time was the dead ball era. Jim Turbin in 1942. So, that being said, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Tyrese, Adam, Samir, and of course you, our wonderful host, Candy, for letting us be on Fire Up.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Of course, you as well.
Okay.